footsteps are all that fills the suffocating air. We remain close, forming a united front against the castle. How will we ever be able to explain this to anyone back home? Why even bother? Nobody would ever believe us. I don't even believe it myself. Why would something like this be here? Talia asks. The castle walls loom higher and higher above our heads the closer we get. It was built in a secluded area for a reason, Josiah says, beginning one of his usual analyses of a situation. That reason must be pretty damn important. I have a hunch that although this place looks old on the outside, the inside will reveal its true age. It's a good thing we're going in then, Caden says with a laugh. After crossing the barren chasm between certainty and impossibility, we finally reach the door. I have a weird feeling, like we've crossed some invisible line between what can and what can't be. Anything is possible at this point. Speaking of getting in, Adora says with a silky curiosity in her voice, how are we going to do that? The doors before us are monstrously large. There's no lock anywhere, but that isn't the problem. There's no handle, no latch, nothing. It's like someone just bolted two gigantic wooden slabs against the walls of the castle. How the hell do we get in? There's one other thing that catches my attention. There's a symbol upon the doors, weaving out in all directions. It resembles... Is that a clock? Cora asks, as if reading my mind. She's right. The design etched across the doors is a big clock, one without any arms to read the Roman numerals found at its edges. The carving is deep, elegant, and elaborate. Sprouting out of the clock are two large wings, like the ones you find on an angel. How time flies, I whisper. Who cares what's on the door? Caden says with a slight hint of frustration. Let's just get it open, okay? He quickly studies the door before shrugging his shoulders and pushing with all his might. They shift a little, but refuse to open. This is a lot more fun than it looks, he adds. You guys plan on helping or what? My friends all exchange conflicted glances before moving forward to help him. Caden, Cora, and I push on the one massive door, while Adora, Josiah, and Talia work on the other. It doesn't seem to be working at first, until a loud groaning emits from the doors. It's more than just a creak. It's like a scream of some ancient agony. The noise sends a shiver down my spine, but it doesn't stop me from pushing. At this point, I need to know what's inside, even if I have a bad feeling about it. The doors continue to protest, but steadily they open. A bellowing, cold rush of wind escapes from the darkness within the castle and rifles through us on its way out into the world. The howling wind is bone-chilling, like a primal, dying animal. That sounds inviting, Josiah mutters. We step inside the enormous entrance of the building and stare into complete darkness. The room's height and length are immeasurable. Without a light source, we'll be wandering around this abyss forever. I really wish you guys would have told me we were going to explore a dark, scary castle, Josiah complains. I would have brought some useful things, like a flashlight, or a camera, or a cell phone so I could call my parents to get me the hell out of here. Suddenly, the room fills with a blinding light, and I'm forced to shield my eyes. Once my vision returns, the castle interior becomes clear. A large hallway lies before us, like something out of a Disney movie. The roof hangs far above our heads, and its end reaches almost beyond my sight. Pillars jut up on each side, connecting to archways of marble and sparkling light fixtures. Somehow, the slick marble hasn't lost its polish over the years. Maybe someone is still around. Whoever built this place knew about electricity, Caden says, moving away from the light switch he had found. Got any bright ideas when it was built now, Josiah? Josiah is quiet for a moment, still soaking in the place. No friggin' clue, he finally responds. Well, that's a first, Caden teases. Adora leads the way with Talia right by her side. It's probably a good idea to stick close together, I think. No telling who's here besides us. Our steps echo all across the hallway, creating a near musical tune. I can't even begin to imagine the work that must have gone into building such a place. Adora's theory of the castle always being here seemed crazy at the time, but it begins to feel more and more possible with each new discovery. Try to keep up, Cora says, poking me in the back. Would you? We walk down the daunting hallway, immersed in a wonder that went beyond words. There are no cracks or blemishes or even dust anywhere along the architecture. Everything is in pristine condition, like it was made today. I don't trust it. Well, if this is our last adventure, Cora says, her voice so low that only I can hear it, at least it'll be an interesting one. Hey, just because summer's almost over doesn't mean we're never going to see each other again, I say. College isn't a life sentence. You know what I mean? I know we promised each other stay in touch, but that's a big promise. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pumped as hell to get out of this nowhere town. But I can't pretend I'm not going to miss these moments. Yeah, me too. So, you submitted your application then. Finally stop dragging your feet. I keep quiet. There's no point in lying to Cora. She reads me too well. Kale, she growls. I just gotta finish a few more transcripts, I mutter. For God's sake, Kale, she snaps. It can't just be Josiah and me. 2 out of 6 is shit. When are you gonna get your act together? Who says I have to go to college to get my act together? Why are you on my case? Hey, if you had an apprenticeship lined up or anything else at all, I wouldn't be on your case. Or let this town swallow you up like the rest of them. I just thought you were better than that. Disappointing Cora is worse than disappointing my parents. I don't know what Freud would have said about that, but it's just the way it's always been between us. She sets me up, and I let her down. Responsibility and ambition come easier to some, not so much for me. Not anymore. One thing that does come easy for me is deflecting serious conversations. I'll get on it, I say, bringing a little melody to my words. It just takes some time. Don't get me started, Cora groans with an annoyed laugh. Don't use my song against me. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. I swing my hips and pretend to hold a microphone to my mouth. Cora playfully pushes me and the pain in my leg flares up again. What happened to your leg? Cora asks. She points to the cut formed when Caden first showed me the castle. Wait, let me take a wild guess. Caden. It's nothing. I shrug and pretend not to feel a thing. I try my best to walk without limping, but that turns into a silly waddle. Stop looking at me like that. Typical. Cora scoffs and rolls her eyes. He's going to bring you down one day, Kale. Where were you when I was filling out my application, huh? Drunk? High? Maybe both this time? His basement or yours? She has me and she knows it. There's no deflecting this one. Cora, that's not fair, I mutter. Not fair, huh? What would you know about what's fair? Something inside me snaps, and I let out years of hidden rage and sorrow all at once. A whole fucking lot more than you. Cora's taken back, and while I see the tears misting over her eyes, she doesn't break. Somehow, I think this is exactly what she wants. Try me, she whispers. Both of us have pieces for each other's pain, but not the full picture. It eats away at me every single day, but it needs to stay hidden. I don't care if it kills me and takes everything I hold dear with it. It stays inside, no matter what. I turn away from her to find the rest of my friends staring, like stunned little kids who wandered into an argument between their parents, one they shouldn't have heard. My face burns with embarrassment, but it's a small price to pay. Yeah, whatever, Kale, Cora says with pure resentment within her voice. Just walk away like you did back then. My heart drops into my stomach, and for a moment, my pace screeches to a halt. Cora knows where to hit, and she hits hard. This is the exact reason I don't let anyone see this side of me. All they do is prod and pull apart. I keep walking and don't look back, just like I did before. What the hell was that about? Josiah asks as I pass him by. Everyone looks concerned and confused. Forget it, I said coldly. Let's just keep going. Kane has a harsh look on his face. He hates it when I'm upset, like he's failed in protecting me somehow. You want to talk about it? He asks half-heartedly as I walk by. Didn't think so. Hey, I know you two have got this whole dark and mysterious history thing going on, and that's super cool, but maybe sometimes it's a bit much, you know? My response is somewhere between a grunt and a growl. I'm too worked up for words. There's only one person I know who can calm this storm. Adora fluttered towards me with a charming smile. I've never seen her anything but happy, or at the very worst, neutral. I've seen all my other friends cry at least once, even her ever-effervescent sister. But not her. Not a single cloud in that sky. Talia always said you were the best at brooding, Adora says. It's hard to disagree. Despite myself, I can't stop from laughing. The anger starts to subside, and I'm left with guilt. I turn to see Cora deep in conversation with Talia, no doubt venting all the things she wishes she could say to me. Apparently, the twins work as a team. I think we are going to find something very special in here, Adora whispers, as if she already knows where this path will lead. What do you think, Kale? I don't have very high hopes, Adora. I reply. Party pooper, she whispers back. Caden sprints past us with a crazed look in his eyes. I look up and realize we've reached the end of the hallway. I was kind of expecting a dead end, that we just have to leave the castle and go back. The castle is certainly an exciting discovery, but something about the whole place doesn't sit well with me. Something about it feels like it was set up just for us to find. Is that an elevator? Josiah asks in disbelief. All 6 of us stop in front of a metal doorway framed with buttons and lights. In bright golden letters, the name Hugo hangs above the elevator. What does that mean? Adora asks. Maybe it's the name of the person or the company who owns the building, Josiah replies. This is turning into quite the mystery. I'll have to do some research when we get back home and see if I can find anything matching a Hugo Corporation. Why do I have the feeling you won't find anything? Cora mutters. This is really starting to creep me out. I'll go back if you guys want, Caden says. You're pretending again, Adora states. Lately, pretend has turned into Adora's euphemism for Caden's pathological lying. At least she keeps him on the hook. Don't pretend. I was just trying to be nice. Caden walks up to the panel littered with flashing buttons. He studies them briefly before pressing the button with an arrow pointing down. Maybe we shouldn't just start pressing buttons when we don't know what they do, Josiah insists. Crazy thought, I know. A loud rumbling arises from beneath our feet, and the walls start to groan. Everyone looks frightened. Even Caden seems a little uneasy. I press myself up against the pillar for balance and start looking around. I begin to realize that the buttons on the wall don't have anything to do with the metal doors. I knew it! Josiah yells out over the quaking hallway. But hey, don't listen to me. Let's just get ourselves killed as quickly as possible. To my astonishment, the metal doors rise upward into the ceiling. Caden attempts to jump and hit the control panel again, but it's too late. After a few moments, it becomes clear that we are in no immediate danger. The look of fright upon everyone's faces once again turns to wonder. The metal doors are no elevator. We've been inside the elevator since we entered the hallway. The hallway's turbulence subsides, and the groaning noise quiets down. More and more metal doors crawl up the walls as we slide deeper and deeper into the castle. I have no idea how far down into the earth we're going, but I assume by now we are far beneath our campsite. I can't even imagine how hard it must have been making something like this, Josiah whispers with wonder in his voice. Quite the architectural feat. Architecture doesn't have feet, silly, Talia teases. You know, I worry about you sometimes, Josiah mutters. Why would you have pressed the down button of all things? I ask Caden. He has a huge smile on his face. The twinkling in his eyes has reached their peak. This is all going exactly how he wanted it to. In all secret laboratories, the most important stuff is always in the basement, he explains. He sounds crazy. Well, the secret laboratories in movies. I look over to Josiah for backup, for some last remaining semblance of sanity. He shrugs and says, You know what? Anything is possible at this point. We can find unicorns and Santa Claus playing poker on a couch made of Bigfoot's fur for all I care. The hallway begins to slow its descent. The final metal doors emerge from beneath the floor. There's a final jolt as we hit bottom, which nearly brings me to my knees. Geez, you think they would have made this place a little safer, Cora grumbles. I don't think safety was exactly what they had in mind when they were creating a moving hallway, Cora, Josiah says. We all cautiously approach the metal doors before us. I start to worry. The secrets behind these doors? Maybe they're better off being left alone. All this stuff must be hidden for a reason. I exchange glances with Caden and give him a questioning look. What does he plan on doing now? What's he expecting to find down here? No matter what's beyond this door, he says quietly, we all stick together. I'll keep us safe, I promise. I don't think any of us were planning anything different, I reply. Yeah, we stick together. He smiles and accepts my words. I'm right behind him as he slowly stretches his hand out toward the door. His hand. It's shaking. From the corner of his eye, he notices how closely I'm watching and shakes off the fear with a laugh. Regaining his composure, Caden quickly pushes open the door. A bright white light spills out of the room and into the hallway. A moment of silence befalls the group as we stare in, unable to see anything but light. Well, Caden says, breathing slowly, here goes nothing. With that, he takes a step into the light and out of our sight.